Well, we just finished our catfishing seminar this Thursday night, and a lot of the fellows over the last few weeks have been asking me to show them how I clean catfish. Because I cleaned some tonight, I fried it up, and it went over real well. So I'm going to show you how I do it. It's a pretty simple method. You wind up really wasting what appears like you're wasting quite a bit of fish, but the fish that you keep is very good. So I'm going to show you how I do it. All right, what I do first is I lay the fish on its side. I usually like to lay the dorsal fin or the back towards me. It's just the way I like to do it. You feel the rib cage, and you want to look for the rib cage and feel it. I'll put the knife in right behind that last rib there. I'll cut down to the backbone, and then I'll cut all the way down to the tail. Cut it right off, just like that. See, so what's left is you've gone from the rib cage back. There's some meat up here above the rib cage here. I find that most often there's a lot of fat in there, and I end up throwing a lot of it away anyway, so I don't even bother. And then I don't have to bother cutting the rib cage or anything. All right, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the fish. As you might have noticed, there's quite a bit of blood. That's because these fish are fresh. They were just caught a couple hours ago. Generally, if you leave the fish in the cooler or on ice overnight so that they're dead for a little while, you don't seem to notice so much blood when you're cleaning them. It's really not a big deal because we're going to soak the fish for a couple of days in some water in the cooler before we eat them, so all the blood comes out anyway. Again, you feel the rib cage, put the knife in here, right behind those ribs, get down towards the backbone, and go all the way down to the tail. And cut it off, just like that. You got another hunk of meat right there. All right, the next cut I make, I'll stick the knife in back here by the tail section, go forward. I want to keep the knife up a little bit off of the table, away from the skin. I'll try to take some of that red meat off with this next cut. If I don't get it all off this time, we can still get some more off later. So I'm going to stick the knife in, and I'm going to try and keep it. You can kind of feel that red meat as you go. The red meat's a little tougher than the good stuff, so when you get down to the end, when you get done, the red meat has stayed on the skin here. That's the red meat is on there. That's the stuff that's bad. And what's left here is mostly the good meat. Now, we're not done trimming yet, but we've pretty much conquered it. Just there's a little bit of trimming left, and we're going to be good to go. All right, the same deal on this other fillet. We're going to put the knife in back here. We're going to go towards the front. We don't want to go at too much of an angle, or we'll end up getting closer to the skin and leaving more of the red meat on the flesh than we want. So we'll stick the knife in, and then we'll turn it parallel to the table. And literally, you can feel that red meat. It's tougher, it's stiffer, and the knife doesn't necessarily want to go through it if you don't cut it too stiff of an angle. And there you go. We've got a nice fillet here. No red meat. All the red meat is on the skin. Red meat, and even some of that fat that I was telling you about is still left on here. That actually turned out pretty good. Okay, so we're not done yet. There's a couple more pieces that we want to get rid of on the top of the fillet here and on the belly section. The stuff that looks a little bit yellow, I don't know if you can see it through the camera lens, but it's a little bit yellow. It's got quite a bit of fat in it. It's really not that bad, but if you can get rid of some of it, it helps. So what I'll do is I'll just take and stick my knife in here, cut a little bit of that off, throw it away. Same thing on the belly section here, just cut a little bit of that off, throw it away. And then this piece of lateral line here, there's a piece of cartilage in there that you really don't want to eat. Now you don't have to waste much here to get rid of that, but you do want to get rid of it. So that's it. So we didn't really lose much on that cut. We didn't really lose much, but that's a kind of a piece of cartilage. It'll kind of spoil the flavor. So we'll get rid of that. Now what you got left is very good eating fish. Just cut it up into chunks. You know, I usually like to maybe cut this once or twice the long way, like that. like that, and then I'll just cut it like that, and I'll cook those up. Just like that. And when you get done, the stuff you have to let this soak in the fridge in water for a couple of days. Some guys will use salt water, you know, all kinds of different stuff. I just put it in water. I'll change it once or twice, soak it for a couple of days. It'll come out, it'll be nice and white. That's all there is to it. That's the way I do it. It seems to work very well. It's easy. It's not very difficult. Obviously, it appears as though there's not a lot of fish left when we get done, but it's true. There's really not a lot left, but what is left is very good. And you can tell tonight at the seminar when I fried it up, everybody loved it. There was no complaints. It was all compliments, and they all wanted to know how we did it, so I'm showing you. Thanks.